It was one of those mornings that smelled faintly of bureaucracy and burnt toast. The city of Claverley, a place so proud of its regulations that even the pigeons filed flight plans, was buzzing about the Autumn Unity Festival. Every year, the government's Ministry of Decoration installed a grand harvest pumpkin in the Royal City Park. It wasn't just a gourd, it was the gourd. 12 feet across, gold orange, enchanted to glimmer politely at passing dignitaries. The pumpkin symbolized abundance, unity, and the fact that the Ministry of Decoration's budget exceeded that of education. Rumi Riddle, professional thief and part-time cynic, sat in the corner of a coffee house that specialized in drinks brewed at temperatures just shy of lava. She was 30-something, an age she refused to specify because it made people guess, and dressed like a librarian who moonlighted as trouble. Across from her sat a man who looked like paperwork given human form. Neat mustache, crisp suit, eyes the color of dried ink. Ms. Riddle, I represent a client with particular interests. He wishes to acquire the Grand Harvest pumpkin. Rumi stirred her coffee. You want me to steal a decorative vegetable from the government? A symbol, he corrected. My client believes symbols should circulate freely among the people. Your client sounds like he failed economics. The man slid an envelope across the table. Inside was an amount large enough to make morality blink twice. Rumi sighed. Fine, but you know my rule. I don't steal for greed, I steal for challenge. If I can't hang it on a wall or pawn it, I might as well enjoy the absurdity. Excellent. He extended his hand. You may call me Mr. Dross. She shook it. His palm was cold, like a tax audit. And so began the pumpkin job, which, in the annals of Claverley's criminal history, would later be cited as evidence that the city deserved everything that happened to it.
Rumi's flat overlooked an alley frequented by cats with criminal tendencies. She spread the blueprints for the job on her desk. The park's layout resembled a bureaucrat's brain. Circular paths leading nowhere. Fences labeled "Do not enter without permit form B7", and wards of modest deterrence against vandalism. Every enchanted defense came with a clause and a loophole. Rumi excelled at both. She flicked a coin between her fingers, a silver token etched with a grinning face. A pumpkin! Really? You're descending into seasonal crime now, the grinning face on the coin frowned. Don't start, Whisper. Easy job, nice pay, minimal moral friction. P.S. would help me with holiday budgeting, Rumi said. You said that before the parrot incident, Whisper muttered. That parrot insulted me first. Whisper sighed while rolling his eyes, but thankfully didn't say anything further. Rumi needed intel. For that, she visited Tovi Quickspell, a retired illusionist turned pet shop owner. His shop smelled of fur and nostalgia. I need to know what wards the ministry is using this year, she said. Tovi scratched his beard. Ah, the Unity pumpkin. That's got triple-layered glamour, 2 truth-sniffing squirrels, and a Ministry of Order intern who hasn't slept in 4 days. So, a normal Thursday, Rumi muttered. The thing about Tovi was he never raised a brow or asked any questions. That's why he was the perfect place for gossips to gather. He rummaged through cages until a parrot squawked, Inspection permit, Form A9. Ignore him. Bureaucratic parrot. Picked it up at an auction. Tovi winced and then leaned closer. If you're serious, you'll need a distraction spell and a mirror charm. Also, someone to deliver paperwork faster than the Ministry of Post's sense of duty. That someone was Mira, a broom-licensed courier witch whose gossip could power a small city. Mira met Rumi and Twilight on a rooftop cafe, broom propped against the railing like an obedient dog. "You want me to deliver a fake inspection notice to the park rangers." "Exactly," Rumi said. "Signed by the Department of Pumpkin Standards." "You blinked." "That doesn't exist." "Of course not. That's why it'll work." Together, they concocted a plan so delicate it practically begged the universe to ruin it. Rumi would enter under the guise of a government inspector, assess pumpkin integrity, and swap the real gourd with an illusionary replica conjured by Tovy's mirror charm. Simple. Which, as any experienced thief knows, is a synonym for doomed.
The night before the festival arrived. Lanterns floated like lazy fireflies, the park gates gleamed with polite menace, and the grand harvest pumpkin sat upon its pedestal, surrounded by guards who were 90% uniform and 10% confusion. Rumi approached in a gray inspector's coat, clipboard in hand, spectacles on nose. She looked precisely the sort of person no one wants to talk to. Guard number 1. Inspection? We weren't told about an inspection. Rumi, snappishly. Form B7, subsection 4, emergency verification of gourd stability. Would you like to fill out the denial paperwork? It's 17 pages. Guard number 1. No, ma'am. Guard number 2, whispering. Did she say gourd stability? Guard number 1. Just let her through. Bureaucracy, when wielded correctly, is invisibility magic. Inside the cordon, the pumpkin radiated smug perfection. Enchantment sigils pulsed beneath its rind. It smelled faintly of cinnamon and self-importance. Whisper whispered from Rumi's pocket. You know, stealing symbols of unity is bad luck. So is talking pocket change, Rumi grumbled. She knelt, pretending to measure circumference, and palmed Tovy's mirror charm. A sliver of polished glass etched with runes of duplication. The trick required timing. The mirror would project an illusion of the pumpkin for exactly 10 minutes, long enough to leave, short enough to cause paperwork. The squirrels were the real problem. 2 enormous creatures perched nearby, eyes glowing with bureaucratic zeal. They could sniff deceit. Rumi produced a pouch of truth nuts, enchanted almonds that compelled honesty. She lobbed one toward the nearest squirrel. Lovely evening for decorative produce, isn't it? The squirrel. Indeed. I sometimes wonder if our lives have purpose beyond vigilance. Rumi. Existential crisis achieved. Good talk. While the squirrels contemplated their mortality, she activated the mirror. Light shimmered, reality hiccuped. The real pumpkin vanished into invisibility while its illusion remained, smiling for the cameras it no longer existed for. She loaded the unseen, weighty mass onto a hovering trolley disguised as a pruning machine and wheeled it out, nodding curtly to the guards. 10 minutes later, the illusion dissolved. Somewhere, an alarm spell screamed. But by then, Rumi was gone, rolling down Midnight Lane, humming triumphantly. Rumi's safe house was, as always, an abandoned tramcar 2 stories above a bakery. She liked it because it smelled faintly of bread and rebellion. The grand harvest pumpkin, still invisible, sat in the middle of the floor, humming contentedly like a warm radiator. She poured herself cider and toasted the room. To improbable success and easily confused guards. Whisper coin. And to you not checking what's inside the 12-foot magical vegetable. Rumi, don't ruin this for me. A soft thump echoed from the invisible pumpkin. Rumi froze. Another thump-thump followed by what sounded suspiciously like a sneeze. Oh, brilliant, she muttered. Humpted produce. Before she could investigate, her mirror phone buzzed. Mr. Dross's dry voice oozed through. Miss Riddle, "A change of plans. My client requests immediate delivery." "Delivery?" she said. "It's 3 in the morning." "National symbols don't keep business hours," he said in his mechanical voice. "A car will collect it in 15 minutes. You will receive the remaining payment upon verification." Rumi frowned. The too smooth tone? The verification clause? This was the classic double-cross vocabulary. Whisper coin. "You think he's setting you up?" Rumi. "No, I know he is. The only thing worse than a liar is an honest bureaucrat pretending to be a liar." She worked quickly. Invisibility spells wear off under scrutiny, and Rumi preferred her exits quiet. She rolled the pumpkin into a reinforced cat carrier, an absurdly large one originally designed for transporting magical jaguars. The enchantment would muffle noise, magic, and, if necessary, screaming vegetables. By the time Dross's car arrived, a sleek black carriage powered by smugness, Rumi had a perfect replica waiting. Tovi's mirror had left just enough residual magic to forge a convincing second illusion. The driver, a silent figure with a ministry pin, loaded it up and drove off. Rumi watched the taillights vanish, smiling like someone who had just stolen back her own theft. At dawn, Rumi finally examined the real pumpkin. The invisibility shimmer had worn off, revealing a gourd glowing faintly from within. Its rind pulsed like a heartbeat. She knelt beside it, touched its surface, which was oddly warm, not in the repulsive way, but as if it was alive? "Right," she said. "Either I'm hallucinating from lack of sleep or this pumpkin's breathing." The pumpkin hiccuped, then spoke in a small, polite voice. "Excuse me, are you my gardener?" Rumi toppled backward. "You talk." "I also roll and occasionally recite limericks. The ministry called me Gordon, symbol of unity, but my real name's Pip." Rumi rubbed her temples. "Fantastic! I've kidnapped a talking squash." Pip explained, between yawns, that he was a pumpkinkin, a rare magical hybrid created generations ago to ensure bountiful harvests. The ministry had turned him into a mascot, feeding him spells of compliance and photo opportunities. "I was tired of sitting there pretending to represent unity," Pip sighed. "I just wanted to see the world beyond park fences." Rumi regarded him. "So technically, I didn't steal you. I liberated you." Whisper coin. "She's rationalizing again." Rumi. "Shut up. You're lucky I don't spend you on parking." Meanwhile, at the Ministry of Decoration, chaos reigned. The illusionary pumpkin had dissolved into a pile of glitter and confusion just as the Minister of Prosperity arrived for his annual rivalry-laden inspection. Accusations flew, committees formed spontaneously, and 3 departments tried to sue each other for negligent symbolism. In the midst of this bureaucratic storm, Mr. Dross's client, none other than the Deputy Minister of Prosperity, fumed. The pumpkin Rumi delivered was an empty glamour shell that collapsed into a smug puff of smoke. "Find her," the Deputy Minister barked, "and find the real pumpkin." Back in her tram hideout, Rumi loaded Pip into a satchel and chanted to resemble an oversized teapot. The plan? Return Pip to nature before the ministry could reclassify him as stolen cultural property. Unfortunately, Mr. Dross was not a man easily thwarted. She spotted him waiting at the alley mouth, flanked by 2 ministry enforcers and an aura of bureaucratic vengeance. "Miss Riddle," he called, "you've caused considerable embarrassment." "Occupational hazard," she said, stepping into view. "I assume you've come to renegotiate my fee?" "I've come to retrieve government property." Funny, the pumpkin says he quit. The what? Right on cue, Pip popped his head out of the satchel. Good morning. I'd prefer independent contractor status if it's all the same. The enforcers froze. Mr. Druss blinked. Bureaucrats are seldom trained to handle sentient vegetables. You see? Rumi spread her arms. Not property. Personhood pending paperwork. Druss recovered quickly. Do you have any idea the chaos you've unleashed? The ministries of decoration and prosperity are at war. Then my work here is done, Rumi said sweetly. The enforcers lunged. Rumi threw a smoke orb, Tovi's parting gift, and the alley vanished in a burst of pink fog smelling faintly of cinnamon rolls. When it cleared, only Druss remained, coughing and clutching a pumpkin-shaped illusion that promptly sneezed and deflated. Rumi and Pip crossed the city under moonlight, heading for the western fields where enchantments faded into simple soil. So what happens now? Pip asked. You roll somewhere quiet, grow a patch of your own, and stay away from cameras, Rumi said while veering a minivan. And you? Rumi sighed. I find a new job. Maybe something non-gourd related. They reached the edge of the fields. The morning light turned the sky gold. Rumi placed Pip on the earth. He pulsed warmly, seeds glimmering. Thank you, he said softly, for stealing me. Any time, but next time I charge double for talking produce. He sank into the soil, leaving behind a faint glow and a small sprout. The whisper coin jingled in her pocket. Whisper, you did a good thing. Rumi, don't tell anyone. It'll ruin my reputation. She turned back toward the city, where the ministries were likely still drafting memos, investigations, and formal denials of pumpkin-related mishaps. 2 days later, Rumi sat in her usual cafe, sipping something that claimed to be tea but tasted like ambition. The morning paper headline read, Ministries in Meltdown. Pumpkin Scandal Grows Roots. Below it, a smaller note. Reports of spontaneous pumpkin patches appearing near the city outskirts remain unconfirmed. Rumi smiled. Pip had made it. The waitress, a young man with a nose ring and the air of someone who'd seen stranger things, slid a sealed envelope across the table. For you, Miss Riddle, dropped off by a cat wearing a monocle. She opened it. Inside was a single card, embossed with a wax seal shaped like, of course, a gourd leaf. It read, Miss Riddle, I hear you specialize in stealing the impossible. How do you feel about liberating a chandelier that sings lullabies? The whisper coin chuckled. You attract the weird ones. Better than the boring ones, she said, pocketing the note. Outside, the wind carried the scent of autumn and scandal. Rumi flipped her collar, tossed a few coins on the counter, and strolled into the street, confident, clever, and already planning the next impossible theft. After all, there were plenty of absurd things in the world, and Rumi Riddle intended to steal them all, one ridiculous symbol at a time.